Hey, welcome to a new episode of Let's Draw. Today's video is all about how to draw a cute kawaii ice cream cone. So if you want to learn how to make one of those using some pretty basic shapes, keep watching. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and jump into it today. Like I said, today's tutorial is going to be a pretty simple, basic one. Kind of want to show you guys, how a just quick, easy, simple design can really stand out. And, don't put too much pressure on yourself to make something that is, super detailed and super realistic. Sometimes designs do beg to just be simple. So we're going to just do a cute kawaii ice cream cone today. So we're going to start out with a circle here. Let's go ahead and add in a triangle down here. And I'm using the iPad Pro 12.9 inch, the original first gen model. As always though, if you're watching at home and just want to follow along traditionally, if you don't have an iPad or a drawing tablet, feel free. A lot of this stuff here especially is just showing you the basics of how to make the design. So if you want to follow along with just a piece of paper and a pencil and, then grab a Sharpie to ink it and maybe some colored pencils, you can do that. If you are, using a drawing tablet, you can follow along with me as I go. So it's just basically the scoops underneath the ice cream cone here. Let me make this a little bit smaller. I want to throw a cherry on top there. So another circle up here. Do the stem there. And then, so this is just going to be a cute kawaii ice cream cone. So just really simple circles for the eyes here. A couple of eyebrows here. And mouth here in the center, which if you need to as well, if you want to make a center line to keep everything lined up, you can also, go up here to your wrench icon if you're using Procreate on the iPad, and you can go over to your canvas and turn on the drawing guide, and it's going to give you those lines. So that's an option as well, whichever way works for you. So we're just going to do a little curve here for the mouth. Couple lines here and a tongue right there in the center. And you'll see, we're not really using any perspective. We're just going straight on with this. So sometimes simple designs too can be pretty basic as far as, drawing principles go. You don't have to get super fancy with them. Sometimes simple works the best. So, all right, we've got this done. So I'm going to go up here to our adjustments layer or adjustments menu and drop the opacity of this down, because we're going to go back on top of it and do the inking. So we're going to make a new layer up here, and I'm just going to start out with black here. And like I said, I'm going to go pretty basic, so I'm actually going to use the tool here for the shapes, so it locks it in really nice, and then just edit the shape to get this to come exactly where I want to. Looks pretty good there. And then we can do that same thing as we go around here. Try not to get too much of an overlap there. Like I said, you can follow along with this if you're using, just traditional methods. It's one thing I've been kicking around, and you'll have to let me know in the comment section if it's something you'd like to see. I thought about doing a new series that is all traditional, that basically just takes simple designs like these. I want to keep them short, like maybe 10-minute videos, and I will draw them traditionally with, a pencil just to get the basic sketch layer down, and then go back in and ink them with a Sharpie and color them in with colored pencil. So kicking around that idea. If you guys would like to see that, definitely let me know in the comments. If you wouldn't like to see it, let me know in the comments. I'll probably if I don't hear too much, I'll do a few of them just to kind of see how they go and get the feedback, because I know I won't hear, you know, a whole lot until the videos are posted. So if you could ahead of time, let me know if you have any interest in watching a video like that. I think it might be fun to get away from the iPad for a little bit and make people that don't have, you know, a drawing tablet a little bit more comfortable with watching some of the videos. I especially hear from, you know, some people with younger kids that really want to learn how to draw, and they said that just because, you know, all this is digital, they lose interest pretty quick of thinking it's not for them, when, you know, it's basic drawing tutorials at the beginning until I get into, you know, layers and coloring and stuff like that. So I thought that might clear some stuff up and let some other people watch who maybe aren't usually motivated to watch. So all right, there's that. So let's go ahead up here and let's erase the overlap here where the cherry is going to go. Get the get the cherry drawn here with just the circle tool. And kind of want the outside. You'll see usually on a design like this, you want the outer edges to be a little bit thicker as far as the outline goes, and you'll see this one's a little bit thinner. So I don't really want this overlap down here where it's sitting in the ice cream cone to be thicker, so I'm just going to draw a little bit thicker line out here. Of course, I have to do some adjustment to get it right. Looks pretty good there. I got a little bit of overlap here. Probably have to clean up. It's really hard to clean up a circle too, so it's best to get it right the first time because it looks a little wonky when you go back in. And then let's erase this and get that cherry stem in there. There we go. Kind of have the setting down on the ice cream here, so it's going to have a little something like that. Maybe a little drip here. There we go. All right, now I am going to go ahead and make a new layer for this bottom part of the lines. I want to have these two separate outline colors, which is another reason why I'm doing this video too, just to show you. I'm not sure if I've done that before. I know I've changed the color of the outlines, but I don't know if I've talked about using multiple colors in a design, so let's do that. There we go. Plus it makes it easy too when you overlap here, you can erase and you don't have to worry about that line layer that you already did. So let's make one more layer. I'm going to combine these two together, but to do these lines makes it a heck of a lot easier to make them separate. That way I can just go back in and erase real quick and don't have to worry about staying inside the lines. So we've got those there, and we'll just erase super fast. Okay, so now that's done. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the sketch layer and then combine the lines of the ice cream cone and the cone itself. So that's going to be one layer of lines, and then the ice cream part is going to be the second layer of lines. So let's go ahead and add a new layer. This is going to be the color flats. I'm going to drop it underneath all the lines. And we're going to go up and set layer 2, which is the ice cream itself. We're going to set that to reference. Then go back to our new layer we just made. I think I'm going to do like a blue color for the ice cream. Looks pretty good. Let's do a kind of muted. I want to kind of keep this pastel look, so the red's not going to be super red. It's going to be a little red, and I missed the line here to connect these together, so it's filling in everything, so I need to bring that around a little bit. Once again, catching that stuff's a lot easier than trying to draw it in, because you'll see this looks a little funky there. It's not the perfect circle shape, so it's a lot easier to match this line up here. All right, so let's go back to that red, and let's add that in. I'm going to select white because we need to do the whites of the eyes. Let's go ahead and do the mouth. So make this one a little bit darker. Looks pretty cute. Now let's go ahead and make a new layer. This is going to be the color of the ice cream cone. And I'm not going to drag and drop here because, number one, it's not connected up here, so it's going to fill the entire canvas. Plus, it's going to be kind of a pain to drag and drop inside of each of these individual triangles here that those lines formed. We'll just get this colored in real quick. There we go. All right, so we've got the color flats in now. We can go ahead and combine those now. And for the blue of the ice cream cone, we're going to select the line layer that it is. Go back and select our blue color that we used for the actual ice cream and just drag this down to a darker blue. Going to select that line layer and then fill that layer, and you'll see this is now a blue color. Doesn't make it as bold and, you know, as I guess obnoxiously stand out with the black. It makes it a little bit more subdued since we're going with these lighter, more pastel colors. It makes it a little bit more natural feeling. So same thing here, select the brown of the ice cream cone, just get a darker color. We're going to select the ice cream cone layer of lines and then go back in and fill layer. So there you go. You can see it doesn't have that stark black look to it. Looks a little bit more natural. And then we've got to get this stem filled in here too. All right. Looks good. So now we can go ahead and add in some shadows and highlights. So let's go ahead and make a new layer. And this one's going to be above the color layer, but below the lines. And now that we've done the lines, I'm going to go ahead and combine those together. So we're going to go below the lines, above the color flat layer. And I think I'm going to do this one like I've done some of the previous ones with that noise brush. This will kind of change things up a little bit. So we're going to go to our brush library and go to touch-ups. And there's noise brush there. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to delete that layer. With noise brush, we're actually going to go directly on this layer. So we're going to select our color flats layer and we're going to alpha lock that. It's going to allow us to draw in, color in directly on this layer. And we want a kind of darker blue. We don't want to go too close to the line color, so keep it kind of in between. And then you'll see we're going to be able to fill in pretty quickly here. And if you do it like this and you do it on the line layer or the color flats layer, you'll need to go back in and use the original color. If you go to erase, if you actually use the eraser on this section, it is going to delete whatever color you've got there. So keep that in mind. And then if you go too dark, which right now I'm going really dark and not really following any certain rhyme or reason to where this whole stroke's going to, you can go back in with the original color. And I kind of like to do this too because it'll add even more of the dots and the texture. So you can really get a nice look to it. And of course we need to get these eyes back to being white. There we go. And we need to get a little bit darker red here for the back side. Let's get some white here as well so we can get some highlights on this cherry. Get some highlights over here on this side. You can vary the size of your brush too with this touch up, and you'll see that it's going to make the circles or the dots or the stippling a lot closer together. So if you need to get some tighter lines, you can do that and it's not going to stand out as much. So you see that's got a pretty good shadow underneath there now. All right, let's go back to the white here. Nice glow on this top part where the light source is coming from. Like I've said before, using this technique is just kind of a back and forth to get the right look that you're going for. If you go too dark, just go back in and lighten it up. All right, let's go ahead and go down here and get some darker brown in here. A little careful around the blue. Let me go back in with the natural inker now and knock out these eyes again. So I got them a little bit too filled in. There we go. And let's try this. I haven't combined these two together, so let's do a natural inker and let's go back in and add in the way that we have done shadows before. I just want to see what this looks like combining this with the two different ways of applying these shadows and see just under these eyes at least. If it looks good, if it doesn't, I think it looks alright, just as long as you don't go too dark with it. It still needs to stay pretty muted, but I think that would work in certain areas, honestly. It might look better than, you know, trying to get this brush in here super small on that noise brush. I think it still has a pretty cool look. And then you can fade that noise brush down, so that actually looks kind of cool. Yeah, I haven't really done this before of combining the two, so just figured to try something new on the fly here and see. It's got a pretty decent look to it. It's almost I don't know, the way it applies, it almost has like a wet look to it. Since it's on top of that layer of the you know, the flat layer and the noise brush. Kind of like how it fades. So here I'm telling you a tutorial of how to do a quick design, and you don't need to take too long. And honestly, I didn't plan on doing something this detailed with this one, or that took this long. I was just going to go pretty basic on it, but this is kind of fun seeing how this turns out. So just need to get this red back to the same color. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and add a new layer on top of here. I'm just going to fill this red in, so that way I can go back over it and it's not going to go out on the blue, because I'm going to alpha lock this layer too. So let's alpha lock this one and go back in now and see what we can do. It's a little bit darker. Go back to noise brush. Go to the white. Obviously, I missed some spots there, so try that again. Alpha lock this one back and go back to my noise brush. There we go. And this part right here. Shine to that. Let's go ahead and go back to the stem one here. Just throw in a little bit here. There we go. And let's go back in with that black and the natural inker onto that just basic shadow layer, so we can add in this extra shadow over here. So that's got the right look to it. Yeah, I kind of like the combination of these. Pretty cool. So a line here underneath the chin, or the lip. Okay, So there we go, a fairly simple, easy design using some basic shapes. Of course, like I said, it took a little bit longer than I planned to do it, but you can see it's still, fairly basic. Used a couple of different techniques that I haven't used before, so hopefully you guys like it. Let me know what you thought in the comments, if you plan on using some of these techniques and how they turn out for you. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. As always, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Make sure you click that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the bell for notifications too, so you can get alerted when I post new videos. Like I've said numerous times too, make sure you guys hop on over to Facebook, join the Keep Creating a Learn, Draw, Share Art community over there, so you guys can see what everybody else is making that's watching the channel. Some really cool stuff that's popping up in there, plus the weekly art challenge too, so I want you guys to be a part of it. As for me, I can be found online, bjdell.com, as well as on Instagram and Twitter at bjdell. So until next time, keep creating.